Good evening. This is the Marion Regular City Council meeting Tuesday, December 17th. It is now 5:30. We shall now have the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call.
Ms. Pazor.
Here.
Ms. Etzel. Present. Mr. Spinks.
Present.
Mayor Buska.
Present.
Mr. Brandt.
Present.
Mr. Abou-Osley.
Here.
Mr. Draper.
Here.
You would pause for a moment of silence, please. Thank you.
At this time, do we have any citizens for presentation, comments, and/or petitions? Anything that's not on this evening's agenda? If you would raise your hand and be called. Step forward, sir, to the podium. State your name and address, please.
My name is Robert Buckley. I live at 2730 Heatherview Circle in Marion. And tonight I just want to take a few moments to update the council on the library's progress on a couple of major events. I'm on the board of the library. And we're working, of course, as you realize, on a new building plans, and I'm here to tell you that the architects have recently completed a very detailed schematic design plan. This has been shared with the library and with Ryan companies, who are at this point going through the schematics with the purpose of coming up with specific cost estimates. Our goal is to have a preliminary plan done by early in January. The first step then would be an internal review by the board and the building committee, followed by a presentation to the council and to the public for review and input. So this is moving along on schedule, and we're very pleased that that is happening. The second project is our new library director search. Our committee, working with the consultants, have been very busy sending out advices and ads and contacts all over. They're beginning to receive responses right now. I understand as of last week they've already received 3. January 10th is the cutoff date for any of these people that are interested in this job. We anticipate somewhere between 15 and 20 qualified candidates. The next step would be that the entries would all be shared with, of course, the library search committee. We will be meeting with the consultants on the 21st of January to select the 6 to 8 top candidates. This will be followed then by paring them down to a workable number, we think 3 to 4. And we will be interviewed and brought into Marion to meet all the library board and all the interested people. It'll be a public meeting, and so anyone interested in that time can come in and meet these 3 or 4 final candidates. A decision then will be followed sometime in early February. We are hoping to have the new library director in place sometime soon thereafter. We're shooting the latest by March 1st, but that kind of depends on a lot of factors. But the main thing is we'll have our final decision made early in February. That's all I had to say. Thank you.
When is Doug's final day?
Pardon me, Joe?
When is the current director Doug's final day?
My recollection is it's the end of February.
Okay, so they'll coincide.
It'll be very close to that time.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions?
Yeah, I have a question.
Yes.
I think this is what has bothered me for a long time. There is a water board, and there is the water department, which is self-sufficient as far as they make. Now, how can the library, which is sustained by taxpayers, how can they be making all these decisions without input of the council?
Well, it is my understanding that the council has been in the loop, so to speak.
Well,
We've tried to keep you abreast with all the things that we're doing. The reason I'm here tonight is to update you.
And I appreciate that, Mr. Buckley, because unfortunately you're the one that came tonight, and I decided it's my turn to just wait a minute. Mainly because I'm hearing from a lot of people saying, why do they get to make any decisions when it's the taxpayers that's supporting it, and why are they the ones that are deciding to tear down the library, to do all these things? Wait a minute. And I agree with them. Like I said, I apologize for your being in that hot seat.
That's right, don't apologize, I understand.
On Mr. Buckley's behalf in the library, I've been attending the meetings as well as some of you, and those plans are just that at this point. You know, we don't have any final drawings, and I've said all along I'm a visual person. I need to see. And the mathematics of the whole thing, we don't know any of that, and this council will know that when that board knows it. I mean, they're trying to develop a program here along with an architect and engineer with the good graces of the Library Foundation. So I think at some point it's going to come here, but it's not yet. But
Well, and aren't those things determined by the Iowa Code?
There's two components to it. Marion's got a library ordinance that is the driving factor behind it, but it is based on the ordinance that's provided by the state. So it sets out, just like the park board, just like the water board, that ordinance sets out what their powers and authority are. I would say that library boards are treated a little differently than most of the other ones, and it was set up with the intention of removing the politics from the equation, because generally you do not want to have city councils, for example, who may make decisions with politics in mind, making decisions, for example, about what books might be on the shelves or those types of issues. So Iowa and most states have historically had a wall of separation between the city council and the library board. That doesn't mean that the library doesn't have a financial responsibility to the community, because the council overall approves the library budget and sets whatever that amount will be. The distinction is that the library, once you approve their budget, has total flexibility for how they spend that money. Unlike the other departments, the city council does not have line item control over what their expenditures are. You merely have lump sum control.
But now the water board isn't included in that.
The water board has their own dedicated source of revenue.
And they make their own revenue. And so I have no problem with them being divorced from the taxpayers. But I don't know. Every time the library comes out with something, everything's changed. I mean, it was first of all grocery store on the first floor, library on the second, 3 stories of apartments. Then we've gone to 2 stories of apartments with a rooftop garden. And my whole question is, how are you going to get snow removal up there to take care of a rooftop garden? I'm finished.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
All right.
Is there anyone else? Sir, you may step.
One question.
Oh, excuse me.
When will all the applicants be available for the public to view?
Of the new, the candidates,
Yes.
it will probably be the end of January, the first part of February.
The list will be available before then, won't it?
Well, we won't know what that list is until the 21st of January.
Oh, okay. All right.
Right. The list has until wasn't it till the 10th, I think, for submission.
10th is the cutoff date.
Yes, sir. So after that, it will be published and we're talking about the list for the recording, the list of the potential candidates for the library director, sir. Very well. Anyone else? Step forward, sir. Thank you. Name and address, please.
Larry Sankey, 1583rd Avenue, Marion. I got a question about this library, too. This new guy or person they're looking at, have they promised them a new library already?
Well, thank you. Thank you. All right. We'll move along now to the consent calendar. Councilman Brandt, this is the first time. Here we go. Yep. No mistakes.
All right, so I move to approve consent calendar as presented, items 1 through 30, excluding number 3, and including resolutions 25011 through 25030.
Second?
Motion is made and second for the consent calendar as presented, excluding number 3. Any discussion? All those in favor of the consent calendar signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Number 3, and I believe that was Councilman Spinks.
Yeah, right.
Go ahead, sir.
This is a motion to receive and file correspondence from Ward 4 Councilmember Nicholas Abalosly announcing his resignation effective December 31st of 2015 to become mayor. Second?
Second.
And
Oh, and I could have died for lack of a second.
I was getting worried. I just wanted to say, Nick, the reason I pulled it was that we were here 4 years ago at this time for your appointment, and I just wanted to thank you for your 4 years of service as on council, and I look forward to 4 years of service as mayor.
Thank
so
you.
thank you very much.
I appreciate that. Thank you. I do want to add, though, that that letter has been revised. The resignation is effective the 30th, correct?
You served too.
Yeah.
It's 4. It's 4 years.
So we,
No, it's been 2 years.
2 years.
Well, 2.5 years.
Yeah, okay.
so we have a motion and a second for consent calendar number 3. Discussion, any other? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed?
Let me think.
Councilman Draper.
Yes, Your Honor, I make a motion to approve the consent calendar with Councilmember Abu al-Asli abstaining, I think I screwed that up a little bit, on items Resolution 25031, Final Plat Number 10, Final Payment Number 10, Martin Gardner Architecture and Public Service Facility Design Service in the amount of $2,601.25. Motion to receive and file the following items for Planning and Zoning Commission. A Hy-Vee preliminary and final site development plan for property located at 3600 Highway 151 and Hy-Vee Incorporated. Resolution 25032 approving partial payment number 27 to Martin Gardner Architectural and Professional Service related to downtown facade revitalization program in the amount of $975.
Second?
Motion is made and second for the second consent calendar. Discussion? All those in favor of the consent calendar with member Abu Asli abstaining signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Thank you.
Your Honor, I move to approve Resolution 25,033, approving rules and procedures regarding the filling of a City Council 4th Ward vacancy by appointment.
Second?
Motion is made and second for Resolution 25033. Discussion? Those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Councilman Etzel.
Motion to receive and file applications for City Council Ward 4 vacancy. Gerald Skip Johnston, 800 Oak Park Circle. Brian Miller, 365 Durango Drive. Bob Schlegel, 3600 North 10th Street. Randy Sternad, 1820 Agate Circle.
Second?
Motion is made and second to receive and file the applications. Discussion? Those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? And now we have presentations by the candidates for council member 4th Ward vacancy. Lon, do we just go through the list as it was published? Very well.
Yep, that'd be fine.
Very well. So first, we are going to have presentations by the 4 individuals who have submitted applications, and the first would be Gerald Skip Johnstone. Sir, yes, sir. Step forward. Give it your best shot, sir.
Good evening. My name's Gerald Skip Johnstone. I reside at 800 Oak Park Circle. My wife and I have lived here in Marion for only 3 years, but our search for a new home to live in started far before then. We had our eye on Marion. We loved the schools. We loved the small town feeling, but the big city offerings with the park. I saw the notice about 3 weeks ago, I think, for the Ward 4 vacancy. On a side note, I was kind of excited when Mr. Abu Asali was elected. No hard feelings, but I actually a candidate that I voted for finally won an election. That's a rarity in my book. So I didn't realize how the Ward 4 vacancy would be filled, and I was kind of excited to see that it was a fairly simple process. When I was notified that I would actually have to speak in front of the city council versus a private interview, I immediately sat down to write a heartfelt, prepared speech to read from, but then I thought I'd probably present better if I just spoke from my heart. Like I said, we've lived in Marion for only 3 years, but we couldn't be prouder to call Marion as our new hometown. I will be the first to admit I don't have much experience in elected public office, aside from a short stint in high school on the student council, which probably doesn't apply in this situation. And I also was president of the volunteer fire department in Nebraska for 2 years. So I do have some experience with handling organized meetings. I'd like to stand on my solid record of public service, having served 21 years in the United States Air Force. I've also served the city of Cedar Rapids as a firefighter and paramedic for 14 years, and I feel it's time for me to step up and offer my services in support of my new hometown. I share a lot of the same views as our incoming mayor. Again, I was very excited at his election. I'm excited for the changes that are coming up in the city of Marion. I just would like to approach it in a cautious manner, making sure infrastructure is in place before a lot of construction takes place. We've got the new sports complex coming in at Highway 13 and County Home Road, which is going to bring in an influx of new jobs and new tourists. We're going to need hotels and restaurants to support that. So in closing, I appreciate the opportunity to put my name forward, and I appreciate your consideration for the position. Thank you.
Thank you.
Can we ask questions for them?
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
As a firefighter, I don't know how your shifts go, but are you on like certain days that would interfere with service?
It's a rotating. I'm on 24 hours and then off 48, constant rotating. But I've also taken that into consideration, and I do have coworkers that on the nights of my presence is required for the meetings, I most assuredly would be here.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
I have a question as well. As you know, and I noticed our attorney gave us information tonight. If we were to get a petition asking for a special election, pardon me, within 14 days, will you run?
Yes, sir, I will.
That time? Thank
I would.
you. That's my question, and that's my answer.
Anything else?
Yeah. How many meetings have you been to?
This is actually my first meeting, but I have stayed in touch. Like I said before we lived here, the meetings are available on the website, and I've read nearly all of them in preparation for this.
Well, I guess I only have one comment, and that is it just seems to me that there's an overabundance of firefighters on these potential candidates, and I want to know what that young lady has been up to.
The fire chief can honestly say that she was surprised to see my name in the running. She had no idea.
Okay. Okay.
Question I'm going to ask everyone this evening. What involvement have you had with the city of Marion to the state? Committees, anything like that?
No involvement as of yet. Again, the public service, until I saw the notice in the paper, I didn't realize that there was going to be a vacancy, so I hadn't planned that far in advance to maybe work into the position. So I understand the question, but I have no, other than using the very abundant recreation department. We have a 6-year-old son, and my subdivision backs right up to Low Park, so we've afforded ourselves those facilities.
Thank you.
What in your mind is the most important aspect of a city council member?
The most important aspect is stewardship of facilities and finances that are entrusted to us by the taxpayers, ensuring that they're spent properly, accounted for, and good lines of open communication between the citizens and the council.
Thank you.
All right, thank you for your time.
Yes, sir. And now, Brian Miller.
Hi, my name is Brian Miller. I live at 365 Durango Drive in Marion. My family moved here back in February of 2004, and I was working for a few companies in the Cedar Rapids area, and really enjoyed the Marion life for what we have. A couple years ago, I really wasn't happy with some of the vision that was going on within the community, within the country, and things like that. So a friend of mine said, why don't you look at running for council or school board? I said, that's a really good idea. Let me look into it. Let me read up on it. Let me find out the pros and cons of it. I learned quickly that you're not going to get wealthy being on the council. It takes a lot of time and a lot of energy. And I believe I have that. I can devote that to the council. A little bit about myself. I have 3 kids. 2 of them have graduated from Linmar, and I have a 12-year-old at Excelsior. I own my own business on Lyons Lane in Marion. I tell people that I work, live, and play in Marion, and there's many days I never leave the city. My little iPhone tells me it's 0.5 miles to home or 0.9 miles to work. I like the current board, the current mayor and the incoming mayor. I think that they've done a lot of good things for the city. One of the things that I think that I'm going to be proud of to be representing Ward 4 and all of Marion is I believe I'm extremely positive. I'm a positive person. I'm a great listener. And even if I'm set on thinking that this is the best decision this way, I'm more than willing to listen to any other discussion and then take all the information and make the right decision. Marion, I feel blessed to live here. We decided to move to Marion in 2003. We had a few different cities to look at, and the research that we came up with, but this was the best one within the area. So I believe I'm a great decision maker just on that one decision right there, because there are choices out there. So I'd be honored to represent Ward 4 in Marion, and thank you for your time this evening.
Thank you. Questions? Go ahead.
How many meetings have you attended?
This is my second one.
Second one. First and second.
I would ask the same question. Will you run if a petition is brought forth?
No, I will not.
Will not. Thank you.
What involvement have you had so far with the city?
None. This is the first involvement in running for the council.
Anything? Thank you.
Thank you.
And now Bob Schlegel, please.
Good evening. I'm going to try to talk loud enough so all the folks in the back can hear also, so I may talk too loud. If I do, you can tell me to tone it down, okay? But my name is Bob Schlegel. My wife, Nina, and I live at 3600 North 10th Street in Marion, and we thank you very much for the opportunity for me to be here tonight and answer the question, why me? What makes me the best candidate to fill the Ward 4 vacancy? Admittedly, I'm not sure what you want or hope to hear tonight from the candidates, and that's probably just as good, because I want to ensure you that what you see is what you get. There will be no surprises. I have no hidden agenda. I have been honest and forthright in the written information which I provided to you earlier, in which I risked, and I say risked, mentioning several issues that I thought needed to be addressed, including the current lack of a proactive police department enforcement of the city's noise and loud muffler ordinance, the potential conflict of interest appointments to city boards and commissions, and the need for a more timely, in-depth, interactive communication with city residents on economic development plans and I'm willing to elaborate on all three of these issues in more detail if you would like. I believe that everyone who seeks a seat on the City Council does so for a reason. And some of you may think I'm only interested in commercial development, annexation, and other issues around Tower Terrace Road and North 10th Street, because that's how you may know me. The truth is, while I believe my efforts on behalf of these issues give me a very important direct experience in working with the city, but this is not why I desire to serve on the City Council. The fact is, while I may be a little gray around the temples, I'm really very progressive at heart. And I'm intrigued by our slogan, Reach Higher. When I first saw that slogan, it bothered me for a long time. I was wondering, is that really appropriate? But after getting involved in this ward business, that is a very appropriate slogan. And I've come to be inspired by it. In addition, I assure you that I am not naive regarding all of the challenges that lay ahead for our city and the residents of Ward 4. All of our issues are complicated, and we are all passionate about the things that we value: our homes, our families, our future, and our city. However, these challenges don't bother me, because I spent 34 years at Rockwell and another 20 as a realtor. I've been out there in the world. I've been listening to issues. I spent most of my life solving people problems and helping people reach a consensus. I'm sure you all realize that the city of Marion as a whole, and especially Ward 4, has a very, very diverse population. It's comprised of many different types of people, some highly educated and some barely, some wealthy and some flat out poor. Some live in small apartments and some in million-dollar homes. Some live in condos, and some live on large acreages. And some prefer the city to continue to live in the past, while others prefer it to reach higher. And I would like to be part of a city council that strives to promote an environment in which all of its residents can flourish and be proud of their city. Mission impossible? Maybe. But I think we should try. If you were to ask me what I believe the city's #1 issue is, I would have to say lack of adequate community input and involvement in the decision-making process relative to the city's economic development goals and plans. And if you were to ask me what I thought our #1 goal should be as a city council, I would have to say to provide a safe and healthy environment which promotes citizen support and involvement in the planning and implementation of city's goals and strategies relating to both commercial and residential growth within a family-oriented community. And in closing, why me? I'm retired from both a very successful 34-year career at Rockwell and a 20-year career as a realtor. So I have the time to devote to the position. You don't have to worry about where I'm going to be on Tuesday or Thursday nights. And I will be devoting a whole lot more time to my activities on the council than these council meetings, because I intend to fix the problem between the city council and the community. The community will know what's going on, and I will bring their thoughts and concerns to the council meetings. When I vote here on the city council, it will not be me voting. It will be Ward 4, all 4 or 5,000 people. And like I say, if you want me to discuss further how I intend to do that, I'll be more than happy to tell you. But more importantly, I have children, grandchildren, and great-grandchildren living in Marion, and I'd like them to be able to stay here. And that means Marion needs to continue to grow, thrive, and reach higher. And I would like to devote a big chunk of my remaining time here on earth helping this council make that happen. That's all I have.
Thank you. Comments?
How many council meetings have you attended?
Mary Lou, I hate to even think about it. In the last 7, 8 years, I spent more than 50 here, because I've been involved in many of the activities surrounding Ward 4 in the last 7 or 8 years. I've been to many council meetings, at least 50. I've spoke at many of them. I've even gotten in some rather heated arguments at many of them.
You mentioned, are you going to say something? You mentioned several issues and concerns you have. What do you like about the city? What's going right?
Oh, what's growing right? A lot of things are growing right. This city is growing. My goodness, Blue Zone, number 20th best place to live. Cedar Rapids is just lately, in the last couple of days in the paper, Cedar Rapids has kind of come out and almost said they're tired of being pushed around by Marion. I mean, people are leaving Cedar Rapids. They're coming to Marion. We're doing a lot of things great. This activity is in the park on Thursdays. Wonderful, wonderful. Just these guys over here, Dan and Tom. I don't know the rest of you fellows very well, but you got two of the best people in the country working for you. This is a great city. I've been here since 1960, okay? I've got grandchildren that have graduated from Linn-Mar. I've got great-grandchildren that aren't at Linn-Mar yet, but they will be someday. And I have them graduated at Marion. So my heart and soul is here in Marion. And I now have the time to give back. Marion's been good to me. Now I'd like to be able to help it out the best I can. A lot of things have been good, especially the growth. You guys just never stop. Dan, I don't know how you even get any hours to sleep at night. And Tom, my goodness. You know, these guys are great. And to answer your question,
you knew it was coming.
You bet. I tend to run. And I intend to, and if I'm appointed, I intend to run for re-election 2 years from now.
Thank you.
When you serve, you know, when your vote is one of 7, you realize that. And so to make a change that you were talking about, you know, you have to have at least four people convinced that that's what you want to do. Do you feel like that's something that you can work together to get that?
In what? Oh, you mean my issues that I brought up?
Yes.
Oh, yes. Absolutely. I've already had conversations with the police chief. I know I have his support. I know I've mentioned it to the mayor regarding the noise in this town. And I'm not going to spend a lot of time talking about it. But this is a great community. But, folks, I hate to tell you, it's too noisy. Okay? We all love the sound of Harley-Davidsons in the spring because they're like robins. When you hear your first Harley, you know spring is here. But we don't have to put up with hearing those things 4 blocks away all summer long. Now, I know our ordinance on noise and loud mufflers says that the police will not react to noises unless you file a complaint. Well, I'll tell you, when a bunch of noisy Harleys blow out my windows, you think I'm going to get in my car and run them down and ask them, guys, will you give me your names and numbers so I can turn you into the police? Yeah, you bet. That ain't going to happen. So they're going to have to take a little more proactive approach to cutting some of the noise down. The noise that people cannot file a complaint on just doesn't make sense. They can do that. All they have to do is roll their windows down.
Thank you.
Your involvement with the city, can you answer that one? What have you been involved with the city?
Pardon?
What have you been involved with as far as like, any committees, anything like that? What have you done with the city
for
so
the
far?
city? No. No, my whole job, really weird. I had the best job at Rockwell that there ever could be. I spent 34 years solving problems. That's all I did. Whenever Rockwell had a problem, whenever the government threatened to shut us down, they gave it to me to solve. I spent 34 years developing new systems, new procedures, and then educating 10,000 people. That's what I did at Rockwell. I was manager of government fiscal affairs for Rockwell, where I was the interface between Rockwell Collins and the United States government on all fiscal activities. Any complaints they had, I had to negotiate by myself all of our bid rates for all of our contracts, and then I had to support all costs charged to those contracts. So I worked daily with the government. But no, I've had no civic activity. I've been too busy, raising my family. And but now I'm retired. I hung up my license. It's still active. I'm still a licensed realtor, but I hung it up because I wanted to run for this ward. And I knew I would have to have all the time I needed to do that. Because, like I said when I come to vote, it ain't going to be me voting. It isn't going to be my personal thoughts. It's going to be Ward 4. And I'm going to do this in 2 ways. I'm going to develop an interactive website for Ward 4 people. And I'm going to be, and of course anybody can access it, but it's really for Ward 4. Because problems with the library, that's not my ward, okay? So none of my people are going to have any problems with a new library going up. You know, it's not in their backyard. That's somebody else's problem. But they're going to know about the library, and they're going to have all the facts up front. So what doesn't happen to me won't happen to them. The only thing I heard is they were going to tear down this gorgeous building, and then we were going to pay a developer to rebuild it and pay back costs when we owned the library to begin with. So I attended the library meetings. That's when I met our mayor-elect the first time. And I talked to Nancy Miller and Steve. They want the new library. They think they need it. And if they think they need the new library, and if they're willing to have it torn down, what better endorsement could you possibly get for needing a new library? And of course, when I heard about Prospect Meadows, I says, holy smokes, such a deal. Now I know why we need a hotel. Now we know why we need more restaurants. Marion is going to grow. And you guys are going to make it grow right. And I'd like to be there with you doing it.
Anything else? No? Thank you. Randy Sterned, please.
Good evening. I'm Randy Sternad. I reside at 1820 Agate Circle here in Marion. I am currently seeking to fill the position. I want to thank the council very much for taking the applications and allowing me the opportunity to get involved with our community in a different capacity. I am coming off of a couple of other long-term commitments that have been very time-consuming on my part, and which is going to allow me to free up some additional time going forward. The last mayoral election that we had, I probably watched that as closely as any other election that we've had. And in correlating with the times of my timeline, I was very intrigued with the opportunity that I knew that there would be a seat available in our city council. That prompted me to move quickly into action to make this application. I am currently a business owner in Marion. I moved in 2003. My business, I am a licensed insurance agent and registered representative in the state of Iowa. Along with that, we talk about people moving and people moving in and people moving out. Just in my agency alone, I can see where people are moving outside of the other city limits and moving into the Marion area. I see where the growths are. I can kind of see where some of those things come from. I'm very active in my community. My resume has a complete list of all the things that I've been involved with. Everything that I do get involved with, I take to heart and make sure that I can commit to 100%. With each one of those categories that I've been involved with, I have escalated to the tops of most of those and seeked several different capacities in leadership organizations. Part of the thing that I bring to the table as being a previous commercial building owner, if anybody remembers the old donut land at 2155 7th Avenue, I took that and purchased that and converted that and turned it over into an office. Later I would have sold that and then relocated next to the Marion Times over by Station 1. So with that, I do bring in a lot of value information. I do know what it takes to balance the books. I do know what it takes to make fiscal planning of numbers and making sure that things get balanced from that perspective. I know what it's like to pay the taxes, to turn on the utilities, to pay workman's comp insurance, and to make payroll every week. I mean, I think that brings a value-added service to this particular seat as far as this individual goes. The passions that you have, being our new mayor coming in, I couldn't see more of a mirror image. I'm very passionate about my community. I've got three beautiful children. One has graduated from Marion, will be graduating this year. The other one has graduated from Linn-Mar. So I know both school districts very well. As you'll see again in the resume, I'm very embedded in my community through different organizations. At this point, again, I just want to thank you for that opportunity. I know you've got a lot of great candidates before you, and look forward to the opportunity if that's awarded.
Ready for questions?
Yes, sir, I am.
Very well.
How many meetings?
I probably attended 18 to 20 meetings, either individually as a resident or in other capacities. I have presented before the council with the Marion Firefighters Association, as I am just now coming off of being president for that for 2 terms. I am the other firefighter.
Nothing else to add.
Your Chamber of Commerce involvement, is that on the board, or is that just a member of the chamber?
I've been a member of the Chamber of Commerce for many of years. I have just recently been appointed to the board. So that is very, very recent, and I've only attended my second meeting to that. So I am an active member of the Marion Chamber Board as well.
And what other organizations or committees have you?
The other ones that I have, the other ones that I have been involved with has been the Marion Fire Department as a paid-on-call. Just so there's clarification, I am not a career firefighter. I am a paid-on-call or a volunteer firefighter. With that being said, I was involved with the Marion Firefighters Association. I am currently active with the Marion Firefighters Association Finance Committee. I am also the past president and vice president of the Chamber of Marion Ambassadors from years past. I'm currently involved with the Economic Restructuring Committee, which was formerly known as the Business Improvement Committee, which is also part of the Main Street. Chamber of Commerce member, ambassador, currently serving as an ambassador for the Marion City, and I've been involved with other short-term commitments for different organizations that have been appointed.
Does your service for all of this, will that impede making meetings and extra meetings or anything like that?
It will not. That has been a serious concern of mine, and for this organization and for the nights that it meets and for things that we need, it will not be any conflict, and those have been addressed as well too. If I was awarded that, those would be obviously, all of them are in a position that those could be taken care of.
You know my question, Randy.
Yes, sir, and I will.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Very well. Thank you, sir. And now we proceed to balloting, sir.
Yes. Would you like me to kind of go over the rules? They're very similar to what we've used in the past. We have 2 variables. We have 7 members voting tonight and 4 candidates. So it will require 4 favorable votes for 1 candidate in order for that person to prevail under our balloting system. So more than 1 vote may be necessary. On the first ballot, we'll take the people with the 2 highest votes, if there isn't a clear winner of 4 or more votes. Then we take the 2 highest vote getters, and they would go to the final ballot. There are 2 situations where we'd have to have a little different approach. There could be 3 votes for 1 person and 2 votes for 2 different candidates. Or there could be 3 candidates each getting 2 votes. In those situations, there'd be a reballot among the candidates getting 2 votes. The one situation where there's a candidate getting 3, that person would go to the final ballot. If there's not a clear winner on a reballot between the ones tied with 2,
then the mayor would draw a name to go on the final ballot. I don't anticipate that that would probably be necessary. On the final ballot, with 7 people voting, there really shouldn't be any ties. There should be a clear winner on the final ballot. And one thing I need to make clear, on the ballots themselves, you need to write your name and sign the ballot. So, because we're not going to be going down the line and voting one at a time. The reason that we've never done it that way is that there's sometimes an advantage or a disadvantage, depending whether you're first or last in that kind of system. This way, everybody votes at the same time, but we need to maintain a public record of the ballot. So anybody who's interested could come in and look at the ballots and know how everybody voted. So they're paper ballot, and they will be numbered. The first time we have a vote, it'll be ballot number 1. Second will be ballot number 2, amazingly, and so forth. Now, there's one thing that might be a little confusing on the agenda. Further down, it has the resolution making the appointment. It says term expires 12/31/17. Actually, if there aren't any pending elections, that's when it would expire. But the code provides that whenever the council makes an appointment to a vacancy, that appointment runs until the next pending election, as defined in a certain code section. So if a next pending election happens, then it would be up for a vote at that time. So it may not necessarily go until the 31st of December in 17. When there's a special election, that always fills the unexpired term and goes to the end of it. So didn't want anybody to be confused by that. I have copies of the rules that I can hand out to council members if you'd like. It'll be handy for you to look at if need be. Do you have any questions?
Don, are you saying that we have a general election next year? How does that affect what you just said?
Let me find that section.
It's not a city election, so it
And-
should.
City next year. 16, it wouldn't be a city election.
A next pending election means any election at which there will be on the ballot either the office in which the vacancy exists or any other office to be filled or any public question to be decided by the voters of the same political subdivision in which the vacancy exists.
Okay, that explains it.
So let me bring these up.
Do we already have that? Yep, that's yours.
Wes will pass out the ballots for the first ballot.
I came up with one more question for the candidates. Can I ask one more question, Your Honor?
Yes.
For all the 4 of you, if you were to be appointed, do you think you would also, thank you, also, when the seat comes available again or up for election and you think you would run again, do you plan on that? Yes. We got a yes. We got a yes.
Yes, I would.
Yes.
And I want to clarify, Mr. Draper, when he asked me if I would run if they held a special election, I said no. I think I was the only one that said no, because I think it would cost too much money to elect somebody for 2 years. If I were to win, I would run in 2 years.
Gotcha. And then Randy, yes. Okay. Thank you.
Can explain to the audience that the public, the electors in Marion, have 14 days after an appointment is made in which they can file a petition asking for a special election. That petition has to have 522 signatures of eligible electors in order to have the required number. Now, if anybody does that, it's smart to have more than that because some signatures might not be valid. They might not be qualified.
Can I ask a question on that? Would those have to be Ward 4? We're talking about Ward 4 only. And right now, Marion is a little different electing their people than the United States, than the state of Iowa, than even our sister city, Cedar Rapids. We're the only ones that I know of where everybody in the city gets to vote for everybody else's ward. Everybody else has ward elections. Ward 4 people vote for all the at-large candidates and the mayor, and they vote for Ward 4 candidates, but they don't vote for Ward 1 candidates. They don't vote. Ward 4 people don't elect people to run in Ward 1. And I was just wondering, would this petition have to be Ward 4?
That's a question that the county election commissioner or the state election commissioner would have to answer. I don't know of any case law on point, and the statute's not, as is frequently the case, not 100% clear. But because of the way our elections are structured, my guess is any elector in the city could sign the petition. But I'm guessing.
Ward 1 could really elect the Ward 4 candidate.
If they were the only people voting, I suppose.
Mm-hmm. Incidentally, the people of Marion, Don would remember, we had the election when we decided we were going to nominate by ward, but elect citywide. The voters had those options, and I can't remember when that was, but they came forth and they put yes on both of those. And that's why we currently do nominate by ward, but elect citywide.
I get on the city council, I hate to tell you this, but I'm going to at least investigate a possible change to the city charter whereby we get more in line with the rest of the country and the rest of the world. And everybody votes for the at-large candidates, but the ward candidates are only elected by people in that ward. Because the issues and problems in each ward are considerably different in many cases.
That's all I had.
We ready?
Yes, sir.
This is in no particular order. I just picked them up kind of at random and shuffled them a little bit. The first one is for Mr. Johnstone. Second one is for Randy Sternard. Third is Mr. Slagle. Fourth one is Randy Sternard again. Next one is Mr. Slagle. The next one is Randy Sternard again. And the last one is Randy Sternard again. So that's 2 for Mr. Slagle, 1 for Mr. Johnstone, and 4 for Randy Sternard.
That would be a majority of the council, and under the rules, it would be appropriate now for you to proceed to the resolution making the appointment. Now, the person, I should tell them, won't be seated until the resignation that our mayor-elect filed takes effect, and then the way the resolution is written, the appointment would take effect.
Councilman Spinks?
So I need to make a resolution to accept Nick's, I thought we had already done that for the council.
Yeah, we did that one.
So,
No, to appoint Mr. Sternard.
so for like number 5, do I need to add his name into that then?
Yes.
Okay, that's what I need to do. Your Honor, I move to approve Resolution 25034, making Randy Stennard to fill the existing vacancy on the Marion City Council Ward 4, the term expiring 12/31/17.
Second.
Motion is made and second for Resolution 25034, appointing Randy Sternod to fill the existing vacancy of the Councilman Ward 4. Discussion?
Yes, sir. It'll be nice to have somebody whose name gets screwed up also. Thank you very much.
And I apologize if I messed it up.
Very well.
They allowed 2 insurance agents up here, though,
Oh.
Was there a second?
Yes, there was a second.
Okay.
Okay, for Resolution 25034, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Very well. Congratulations, sir.
Congratulations.
Mr. Mayor?
Sir.
I would just like to make a comment. I want to thank all the candidates. I think you all would have done a fine job. And I encourage the ones who didn't get selected, please do get involved. There are many other opportunities besides serving on council. You know, we have commissions and committees. There are openings all the time that you could apply for, that you can, have an impact. I think you all want to have a positive impact on our city, and you have good ideas and you have good contributions to make. And so I encourage you to look for other ways to get involved. Okay, thank you.
Very well, moving along. Councilman Brandt?
Where are we at? Police, fire? Where are we at? Okay.
Yes, sir.
I move to approve resolution number 25035, approving the refurbishment of Aerial 1 from Pierce Manufacturing Incorporated in the amount of $14,769.65.
Second.
Motion is made and second for Resolution 25035. Discussion? Those in favor of Resolution 25035 signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Councilman Nick?
So now they can reach new heights with this ladder truck, right?
Mr.
Well,
Mayor,
we can have now we're going to have 2 ladder trucks available.
Yeah.
That's the deal. Very well.
Yep.
Go ahead, sir.
Mr. Mayor, I move to approve ordinance number 15-23, establishing access fees related to the 2015 29th Avenue widening project, final consideration.
Second.
Motion is made and second for ordinance 15-23. Discussion? Those in favor of ordinance 15-23 signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Councilman Draver?
Yes, Your Honor. Ordinance 1524, adopting a statewide urban design and specification program, SUDAS, and it's a final consideration.
Second.
Motion is made and second for ordinance number 15-24. Discussion? Those in favor of ordinance 15-24 signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? At this time, I shall open a public hearing regarding the establishment of access fees related to the Irish Drive improvements. Engineering, go ahead.
Thank you, Your Honor. Following a memorandum of agreement of approval by City Council in April of 2014, the city staff was directed to complete the Irish Drive improvements north of Tower Terrace Road to the south entrance of Lau Park. In doing that, we had a complete project cost of $1,063,733.78. With that, the agreements specified that each of the adjacent owners, as they develop or final plat, would pay an access fee, and this ordinance thereby establishes that for those adjacent property owners.
Thank you. Is there anyone in the audience who is opposed to this particular hearing regarding the establishment of access fees for Irish Drive? Raise your hand and be called on, sir. None noted. Is there anyone in the audience who's in favor of this particular access fee? May raise your hand. None noted. Public hearing is now closed. Councilman Pazur.
Your Honor, I move to approve the initial consideration of Ordinance 15-25 establishing access fees related to the Irish Drive improvements.
Second.
Motion is made and second for Ordinance 15-25. Discussion. Those in favor of Ordinance 15-25 signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Councilman Itzel.
Resolution number 25036, authorizing application to Corridor Metropolitan Planning Organization for regional transportation funds in the amount of $760,000 and committing to provide local matching funds contingent upon award and acceptance of transportation grant funds regarding the Tower Terrace Road project, C Avenue to Albernet Road.
Second.
Motion is made and second for Resolution 25036. Discussion. Those in favor of Resolution 25036 signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? At this time, I shall open a public hearing regarding the request of a partial demolition of a structure located at 1190 9th Avenue within the Terrace Park National Register Historic District.
Yes, Your Honor. As identified in the staff report, Mr. Ward, the owner of the property, 1190 9th Avenue, is requesting to demo a portion of the structure adjacent to his house. It's actually a garage. It's on the back side of his property. As provided by code, we're required to come to the council and hold a public hearing regarding that demolition permit prior to that permit being authorized by the building department for removal of that structure. The owner is actually on Tuesday had went to the zoning board of adjustment and requested a number of variances so that he can remove that portion of the garage and place a new garage on the side of that house. Apparently it was built with no foundation, or I shouldn't say no foundation, no footings, so it's been through the freeze thaw cycles and is moving, so and causing some damage to the structure. So he's requesting to proceed with that removal. He is, at this point, there's still some questions. The variances that were requested were not approved. Not all of them were approved. So there's still some conversation about what's going to happen with that garage structure. There's a photo in the packet. If you want me to show that, I can. And if you have any questions on that, but really the public hearings provide opportunity for folks to speak out against that or for it or what have you. Ultimately, and I don't know if Don, you can maybe help me out on this, but I haven't looked at that code. I think if even in the event that the permit or the public hearing goes through and the permit's denied, I don't think that it stands. It's only a requirement that we go through the process to open that public hearing, because there's got to be the opportunity for the folks, if someone wanted to come through and save that structure, this public hearing process really provides the opportunity for someone to be notified of it, approach the individual, and try to work with them on preserving it. And it's mostly occurs when you've got an actual home being demolished and there's an outcry from the community that, hey, we want to save this as a historic structure, and it provides the opportunity for someone to come forward and say, hey, I'll be willing to provide X number of dollars to you and purchase it prior to demo. So normally on a demolition permit, there's not this public hearing process. It's only because it's a historic district. So any questions on that?
Thank you.
I have a question, Your Honor. I know that house is not on the National Registry. It is on the historical district. Does he have any requirement to notify either the State Historical Society or the National Registry that he is altering a property in the district?
That I do not know.
I think we need, having a house on the registry, they sometimes tell you what you can do and can't do.
Mm-hmm.
That we need to ask, I think, Tom.
Isn't this a garage that was built in the 60s?
Well, somebody, but see, the house wasn't in the district when the garage was built. and they accepted it in the district.
With the garage there.
And I don't know.
I think it was a contributing structure to the district, but not a registered.
Right, it's not on the register.
Correct.
And I don't know if they have any
obligation to do anything more than that.
to notify
I mean,
them.
I can certainly look into that. I don't believe they do, or it would have been brought forward primarily because the Historic Preservation Commission actually reviews this as well. And they had recommended 4.0 for the permit to be provided.
I just think that we need to be cognizant of what the rules are.
I think the rules are different from the historic district to a historic residence or historic building.
You're right. If the dwelling is on the National Registry, they have a whole different set of rules. But in the historic district, it's just like if we tear something down in that district, I think we have some obligation to notify the district that we're changing that district. I don't know that, but I'm asking. And then you may not have the answer for that.
No, and I don't have that here. I was just.
But I think we should make that inquiry.
Sure, we can do that. There is time. I mean, just.
Yeah.
So we'll continue with the public hearing now. Is there anyone who's against the request for the partial demolition of this structure located at 1190 9th Avenue? Anyone raise their hands? None noted. Anyone in support of this demolition? You may raise your hand. None noted. Public hearing is now closed. Councilman Spinks.
Yes, Your Honor, I move to approve Resolution 25037, approving the partial demolition request of a structure located at 1190 9th Avenue within the Terrace Park National Register Historic District, McGuire Construction, Inc. request.
Second.
Motion is made and second for Resolution 25037. Discussion.
Your Honor, I would move to table this until we get a definitive answer as far as what is expected as far as historic preservation is concerned. And I'm sure that they're not going to be doing it, I mean, as nice as the weather is, but, with...
Yeah. You know what the time frame is, Tom?
Well, I know that the Zoning Board of Adjustment heard 3 variance requests in order to construct where they wanted to do that, and not all of them were approved, so they're probably trying to figure out what they're going to do in lieu of what their plan was. And that just happened on Tuesday, so there hasn't been an opportunity to really have any formal discussion with them at this point. So.
I would second Councilman Bazur's motion to table until we know and have a good idea of the rules. And it's going to happen other places, so we...
Sure. Yep.
Well, it's a case of going ahead and doing it and then finding out, oops, we shouldn't have.
Yeah.
And I would just as soon...
Yeah. Okay.
I just as soon have a definitive answer.
Very well. So for Resolution 25037, we have a motion and a second to table. Correct? Those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Councilman Brandt.
Your Honor, I move to approve a motion directing staff to proceed with an 80-20 annexation of an area located north of East Robbins Road and west of Alburnett Road.
Second. Motion is made and second for an annexation request, an 80-20 annexation request. Discussion? Those in favor of this motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed?
I need to abstain from this.
Aye. You have an aye. Yeah? Okay.
For approve, yes.
Okay, great. Let's see. Councilman Nick?
Mr. Mayor, I move to approve a motion to receive and file a request for funds regarding the Marion Leadership in Action Winter Light Project for 2016.
Second.
Motion is made and second to receive and file a request for funds. Discussion?
What is the request? What amount?
I don't know that we have.
Oh, it's just a receive and file.
It's a
So that's
receive and
what
file.
this is, yeah.
Yeah, it's just receive and file for request. Just,
Okay.
I don't think
Well,
there's funds involved. Okay. Any other discussion?
Here somewhere.
Those in favor of this motion to receive and file, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Councilman Draper?
Move consideration of a ROW purchase agreement for Winslow Road.
Yeah, I briefed the council on this on Tuesday, about the right-of-way that the city needs to purchase because we asked for Winslow Road to be relocated from its normal path as part of. What I'm actually seeking from the council tonight is authorization to go ahead and sign the purchase agreement. Under the city ordinances, I can sign a purchase agreement providing either the mayor or mayor pro tem signs off on it. We're asking for authorization to proceed with that. That purchase agreement then will come back to the city council, as will the actual purchase. I'd hoped to have everything ready for you tonight, but at this point, the plat for the property has not been approved, so the final legal description for the parcels that need to be transferred over to us are not yet ready. But at the time that those are ready, then we can go ahead and execute the purchase agreement and bring that back to council. I just want to make sure that when the legal descriptions are ready, we can go ahead and lock the property up and continue on through the process to bring it back. But the council then will see that again and have the ability to weigh in before we actually do the purchase.
So this is just for consideration?
Yep.
Very well.
It's for the right-of-way.
Yes, sir. Those in favor of consideration for the right-of-way purchase, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed?
Your Honor, I move to remove from the table resolution number 24,979, approving the development agreement with France Community Investors for renovations of the Coben Hervey building, including annual appropriation tax increment payments, and this was tabled the 19th of November.
Second.
Motion is made in second. Motion to remove from table resolution 24979. Discussion?
Mayor, if I may,
Sir?
I'd like, if the council would be amenable, I'd like to actually have you vote this motion down so this can continue on the table. I have been in communication with the bank, but between holiday travel schedules with the banker and the developer and then me, we don't have everything finished on this yet, and I don't want council to approve it before it's completely ready.
So
We
we want to vote no.
just remove the second, and I'll remove the motion, and
Is that or vote no on it?
Either way.
Let's vote no. We don't get to do that then also.
Oh, okay.
All those in favor signify by saying aye. All of those who say no, no. Ready? No.
No.
Very good. Councilman Etzel.
Well, resolution number 24979, approving the development agreement with France
No.
Community.
This is the
See,
one
I
that
don't
gets
need to
tabled.
do it, right?
Yeah.
Yep,
we
there's
need
no
to-
reason to act on that. You can go right to number 5.
Yeah,
We could have
Gosh,
voted no for that.
we now have a public hearing to accept the construction documents and award the bid for the downtown facade revitalization program continued from 11/19/15. May we have an explanation for that? Just real quick.
So this was on the agenda on 11/19/15. Our architect and Uptown were continuing to work with the property owners. We had a few of them drop out, which is why it was tabled. So the revised bid tabs were put in front of you, and so the final amount came to $264,525 with Renaissance Reconstruction.
Thank you. Thank you. Is there anyone in the public that is against the accepting the construction documents? May raise your hand. None noted. Anyone in favor of these construction documents? May raise your hand to be called. None noted. Public hearing is now closed. Councilman Speaks.
Yes, Your Honor, this is a motion to remove from table Resolution 24977, accepting the construction document and awarding the bid to Renaissance Restoration, Inc. for the downtown facade revitalization program that was tabled on 11/19/15.
Second. Motion is made and second to remove from table resolution 24977. Discussion. Those in favor of this motion signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed? Councilman Brandt.
Move to approve resolution number 24977, accepting the construction documents and awarding the bid to Renaissance Restoration Incorporated for the downtown facade revitalization program tabled 11/19/15.
Second.
Motion is made and second for Resolution 24977. Discussion? Those in favor of Resolution 24977 signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Councilman Nick.
Mr. Mayor, I move to approve resolution number 25016, naming the Marion Times as the official newspaper of record for the city of Marion.
Second?
Motion is made and second, naming the Marion Times the official newspaper. Discussion? Those in favor of Resolution 25016 signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Councilman Draper.
Yes, Your Honor, a motion to remove from table following mayoral reappointments tabled on 12/3/15, and those two appointments are Patty Weiss and Terry Sparrow.
Second?
Motion is made and second to remove from table the following mayoral reappointments. Discussion?
I should go on to say those terms expire 12/31/19.
All right. Those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed?
No.
One no. Okay. I have mayoral reappointments. Joe,
Yep.
take these.
Your Honor, I move to approve these mayoral reappointments. Patty Wise for the Park Board, term expiring 12/31/19, and Terry Sparrow for the Park Board, term expiring 12/31/19.
Second.
Motion is made and second for the reappointments. Those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Discussion.
Oh, you want a discussion?
Oh.
Go
My
ahead.
only discussion is that at the meeting, Charlie Kress came forth, and he's also a Park Board member, and desired to be reappointed, and we didn't do anything with that, and I didn't know if we wanted to do something with this now, or if we wanted to follow up on that, or... I'm asking, I don't know.
Is it possible to expand the park board?
Pardon me?
Is it possible to expand it?
I think that's something that you could,
Okay.
you can address at a later date, too. We did talk about expanding the park board, but not expanding the stipend.
Right.
And I think you can address that at a later date and
Okay.
possibly take care of all of that if you'd like. All right, Roy? So,
With that in mind, Lon, I would like to have on the council agenda at the first meetings in January, a review of boards, numbers, and whether or not we do want to increase some of those, park board for one, but some of the other boards. Some of them don't want to be increased, some of them do. But I'd like to, if you would, sit down and review that for us so we can bring forth motions if we desire to increase the park board. Because the park board, for one, is going to be a member short now, I think, unless there's something else in there.
no.
Okay.
We appointed one earlier.
All right, but could we do that, please?
Yeah, the last time we looked at it was in 2010, 2011, so it's been, coming up on 5 years since the last time we looked at that. We have some new ones, and then we have some ones that have been changed, like the alternates for the Plan Commission and so on, that we can brief the council on.
Your Honor, I would also like to consider this paid, even if it's $500 a year, it is a paid position, and in that case, these members should be voted on. It shouldn't just be an appointment, because it might be my best friend that I would be voting down. Maybe.
Thank you. For the motion at hand, motion to remove from table and we're doing the mayoral reappointments, correct? For Joe?
Yep.
All right. All those in favor of these mayoral reappointments signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed?
No?
Councilman Pazor.
Your Honor, I move to remove from table the following mayoral appointments. This was tabled December 3rd, 2015. Dave Ransford for the Park Board, term expires 12/31/2019. Terry Chu for Solid Waste Agency Board of Directors, same date as far as expiration. And Mark Morgan for Construction Code Review Board, term expires 1/1/2020.
Second.
Motion is made and second to remove from table the following mayoral appointments. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed?
No.
Joe?
Mayor, I move to approve the mayoral appointments that was tabled from 12/3/15. David Ransford for Park Board, Terry Chu for the Solid Waste Agency Board, and Mark Morgan for Construction Code Review Board.
Second.
Motion is made and second for the mayoral appointments. Discussion? Those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed?
No.
And Joe, you have an, whoops. Let's remove this one.
Right.
Go ahead.
I move to approve these mayoral appointments, striking Steve Mosher, but including Clark Weaver and Mike Dooley. Clark Weaver for the Local Option Sales Tax Oversight Committee, and Mike Dooley for the Public Service Board.
Second.
Motion is made and second for these mayoral appointments. Discussion?
I
Go
want
ahead.
to talk about Clark Weaver. On his application, he didn't express any interest in any other committee. So he wanted to be on the Park Board. So he did not really express interest in being on local option sales tax. So I think we should talk to him about that. And then Mike Dooley, I have no application for him in my packet. And I do have concern about not reappointing Tim Mooney. I think it's a disservice to our community if we don't keep qualified people. He's chairman of that committee right now, and I just feel like he's very qualified and he should continue. And I know he does go to meetings in place of the mayor, and I would feel more comfortable having Tim Mooney going to meetings.
Well, those are something that you're going to discuss at the next meeting. For sure.
Okay.
Very well.
The Public Service Board, who's being replaced?
Craig Edmondson.
Yeah. We actually have two appointments to make. One's being replaced. Craig Adamson and Kevin Morgan are up for appointment. We requested that the council reappoint them back in November 19th. Since then, we have heard nothing.
They both want to be reappointed?
Yes.
Well, why don't you take a look at those then at your next meeting then, and
Okay.
and have all your paperwork completed, and make it go then. So, Joe, what do you want to do?
Do we want to table this then?
Yeah, let's go ahead. Let's table this, these appointments.
I table these two mayoral appointments, Clark Weaver and Mike Dooley then.
Second.
Motion is made and second to table the appointments. So those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Very well. Now we move to discussion time. Anything else?
Yes, sir. I have lost two good friends since the last meeting. Charlie Boquist, who had been a teacher at Marion for a number of years, and Johnny Schlotterback, who was in school with my aunt, who my mother raised as an older sister for me. So it was kind of a shock in 2 days losing two friends. I must say, Mr. Whitlow, that it just took a threat of your vacation loss in order to get that hole filled on 29th Avenue, which I hear has been done.
I appreciate that. I'll go now then. Thank you.
Just
go now.
You can go now? Okay. Your Honor, I do have a question. Do we have a functioning library right now? That's not a trick question. That's an actual question to you.
To me?
To you.
Yes.
Do we have a functioning YMCA right now?
Yes.
Okay. Now,
I don't have any more answers.
Oh, I don't have any more questions for you either. Coralville has just lost their bonding status because of all the stuff that they've done. And I almost think that Marion should be looking at being a little more careful as far as spending. I do have another question. Do we have a third Fire station? No. Okay, I answered that one for you. So I think that should be the next thing that we worry about, really, financially, is because of the public safety aspect. And congratulations to Marcus Page on taking the new whatever at the University of North Carolina for 3-point shots. That's it. How can she follow?
You didn't have anything? I, too, grieve the loss of Chuck Boquist because back when we were doing the cemetery walks, he was very influential in helping me with learning Marion history. And he was a very, very good teacher of that. And so I was saddened to see that this week. Also, I'm saddened to see this guy leave when the gavel strikes. That will be his last gavel strike. And so, Mayor, it's been a fun ride. It started a little rocky, but it's been a fun ride the 4 years. I appreciate being a Mayor Pro Tem for these last 4 years. And I wish you well in anything that you are doing. So thank you for serving Marion.
Thank you.
I too want to thank our mayor for his service. It's a big decision when someone volunteers to take on this much responsibility and subject themselves to a lot of criticism and scrutiny, and really it's a decision made on behalf of themselves and their family. And it's a tough decision, and it's done, out of caring and out of wanting to make a difference. I don't think people would just do it just for the fun of it. It's really an important decision that's made, and Marion has seen a lot of progress in the last 4 years, and as a council member, as a citizen, I want to thank you for leading this council and leading the city, and I'll be looking to you for continued counsel and advice, and wish you well on everything.
Thank you.
I'm going to miss the old guy in the middle down there. I can say I'm the only fellow that put the first parking meter up in Marion, and it was at the mayor's parking place behind City Hall. I went and borrowed a parking meter and put it up there, and I hid out in the chamber office for about 40 minutes waiting for him to come. And the look on his face was unbelievable when he pulled in there and had a parking meter. And then I had Harry was going to give him a ticket for not putting money in it. So we've had a lot of fun, Mayor, in the last 4 years around here. I would like to have the council think about, and Lon think about, I'm disturbed with our suburb to the west and our non-piracy program. I think they violated that at least twice in the last month, and I think it needs to be reviewed. If they're not going to abide by that, we're not going to abide by it either, and I'd like to have them know that. And that's all I have there.
Well, I think on that line, I think it's very important. I think we got a good brief and some good paperwork from Medco about that particular situation. We did not offer those people anything, and my goodness, the city of suburb offered them, and I can't understand their reasoning at all. I mean, holy cow! They just came in and asked, and we said no. We're not going to give you anything. We got a nice building if you want it. It's furnished. It's furnished. So anyway, off with that. But anyway, it's for the individuals that are running for council. Hey, I got off the couch. I didn't have any experience, and you learn pretty quick. You have to have pretty thick skin. Obviously, a couple of years ago, there's some individuals that tried something, and it kind of made some people foolish, and made the city look foolish. But I want to make a statement right now that if there's another 1% out there that wants to make the new mayor foolish, make the city foolish, I will stand up and be heard. I'll get them both barrels. There's enough of that, and I think somebody should have stood up in the past and done this. By golly, I'm telling you, in the future, I will do it. I won't stand for it. It was just foolish. It cost the city about $12,000 for legal fees, which is ridiculous. But off. Let's talk happy. Blue zone. Again, I said the other day, we were predestined to be blue zone. We were on the corner of happy and healthy, and that's all there is to it. So there. And one other thing that's going to take precedence very shortly, we're going to move along with this airport. We purchased the airport. We're going to enlarge the airport. We got a developer out there that's going to really do some wonderful things, and the city is going to be involved tremendously with it. It's going to be a very, very, very good program out there, and I fully hope that everyone supports that. Along those lines, we all remember the Wright brothers. Everyone feels that they had a successful flight, but you don't know the whole story. There's something that was wrong with that particular flight, and it's still going on wrong today. Does anyone have any idea what that was? They lost his luggage. So with that, Merry Christmas. Thank you so much.